Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Jessie, and welcome back to another episode of Rewire to Inspire. The show where we'll dive into self-love, learn tangible ways to rewire the brain, and discovering your soul's purpose. The goal of Rewire to Inspire is to encourage listeners to begin doing the hard work, to get curious and open to maximizing your life. Our mindset shapes how we live. Depending on life events, traumas, and personal experiences, our mindsets are all vastly different. However, one thing we all have in common is the ability to rewire our mind, to change the narrative, and to pivot our lives. I hope you leave each episode with the belief that you are so worthy to live a life true to you. I look forward to chatting with you every single Tuesday and Thursday and helping you grow exponentially in all areas of your life. Without further ado, here's today's episode. Hello, you guys, and welcome back to my podcast, Rewire to Inspire. I am your host, Jessie Brown, and I am full of energy on the mic, excited to be here. If you guys are listening today is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful week, enjoying the last week of February, which is crazy. I don't know where February went. Wow, just sitting here for a second, this month absolutely flew by. Sorry, had a little moment there for a second because time seems to just be slipping away from us, which is why coming back to our bodies, coming back to gratitude and setting ourselves every day is so important, because life will go on, and why not live it in the most harmonious, best way possible. But nonetheless, you guys, I am so excited to jump into episode 103 with you guys today. Today's episode is focused more on gearing you up for success in a way, and gearing you up to just get started, I guess. So the theme of today's episode, the title of today's episode is, do you know what tools would help you best succeed? So this came up for multiple reasons. One, because I am a huge advocate on making sure your space is set up to work for you. Your space needs to be in harmony with what it is that you're doing. You need to have access to the right things. You need to be set up so you can be as productive as possible, be as comfy as possible, so that you can get into flow, because nothing is worse than when you start to work on something, or you're trying to work on something and you feel like you just can't get into the right headspace, or then you forget something and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And so today's episode is all about, do you know what tools would help you best succeed? Because oftentimes when we push things off and we push things aside and, we future it, meaning we put it on the table and we say, one day we're going to pick this back up, it's often because there's an excuse in the present moment of why we can't do that thing. And typically those excuses are resources. It is space, it is time, it is money, it is things that we think we don't have control of, but we actually have more control of than we realize. We just have to be willing to get resourceful. So the reason that this episode majorly surfaced is because, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, I walked by my partner's office and it is a disaster zone. It looks like a tsunami went through this thing. And he's not like that. He's not a messy person. He's not a dirty person. He's just used to having a big garage. He's used to having lots of space to have all of his tools, to have his welder, to have all of his stuff. And when he moved in with me, he now doesn't have a garage for the time being. So all of his stuff and all of the things that he likes to do is kind of crammed into this room. And he's not able to be really productive in there because he hates going in there because there's stuff everywhere. We've tried to organize it. We've tried to do so many things, but it's just a space that's not optimal for what it is that he likes to do, which is woodworking and welding and doing things with his hands. And so his space wasn't allowing him to be successful in a way, quote unquote, because he didn't have the proper setup to do the things that he likes to do. When he has a garage, he can lay everything out. He can organize everything. He has space to put stuff. But in his office here, that is, think of how big, what's a good reference to how big/small his office is? Think of when you go to a grocery store and you walk into a single bathroom, there's just one toilet in it, it's like a shared bathroom. It's probably a little bit bigger than that. It's not the biggest room in the world, and poor Mike is in there just trying his best to work. I now understand why he works mostly from the kitchen and from the living room. And then I walk by my office and I have, my ring light in front of me and I have my diffuser and I have my office all clean and everything's organized. I have my bookshelf with all my books. I have my stuff behind me. My microphone is put away properly. My headphones are always put away properly. My whiteboard is there set up with my goals on it. Everything is just set up so that I have everything that I need and I'm not looking for it. And it's also set up in a way that my mind isn't stressing about my environment, because that's the other thing is when our space is a mess, and I've done an episode about this in the past, it actually messes with our mind because our mind is constantly just feeling disorganized and feeling chaotic and not really knowing where to put things. And so that comes out through our productivity and through our work. And so knowing what tools would help you best succeed is really where I want to leave listeners today. Once you jump off this episode, I want you to kind of go, okay, what am I needing or what am I not optimizing as best as possible to set me up the best for success? So we often don't succeed when we don't have the right setup for what it is that you're doing. And so when I was sitting here and I was kind of thinking of an analogy, I'm like, do you remember when you're in grade school and your teacher sends you a list of supplies that you're going to need for the year? It's like a full list, and your parents always hated it because it costed $1 million to buy all these things. But I know that as a kid, I loved that. That was my favorite time to go to Walmart with my mom, was when it was school shopping time. Like, oh, that was my jam. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably because me, even back then, little overachiever Jessie was like, yes, we got to get the right stuff. We got to get the right notebook. We got to get the right pen. We are doing this. And so I loved it. But the thing is when we think about that list, the reason that was sent out is because the teacher's saying, hey, these are the things you're going to need this year to be the most successful and to set you up. We're going to need the right calculator for math. We're going to need the right, pens for this, the right dew tank for that, which now I'm thinking about it, who bloody cares if I have 6 orange, 2 purple, 1 yellow, 1 green? Like it was so specific. And I'm thinking back now and like, it really didn't matter. And I realize I'm going on a side tangent, but I'm like, can anybody else relate to that? Thinking back of how much stuff you got that you didn't actually need. It was just on the list for the sake of having this damn list. But anyways, you get the point. The teacher demonstrated and highlighted, these are the things your student, your kid is going to need to be successful this year. And so you go purchase those things, you bring them, and you go about your merry way. However, when, we grow up and we go about our life now, nobody is giving us said list. Nobody is telling us the things that we need to be the most successful. And that's because it's going to be unique to each and every person, depending what you're doing. For me, I need to make sure my microphone is, it's set up properly and it's clean and it's organized. Whereas somebody else, they might have zero use for a microphone. They might have something else for them that is crucial. And so it's figuring out what those things are for you, figuring out what it is that you need in your space so that you can be as productive as possible. The first thing that you must know is what's working and what's not working in your space. Depending on what it is that you're trying to work on and what you're trying to work towards, again, that's going to be unique to you. But you need to know what is working in your space and what's not. So I would say it was probably a month ago. I was on a call with my coach and he asked me to take over the screen share and to show him some things. And it was taking me so much longer to navigate because I didn't have a mouse. My mouse had broke and I was using like the keypad on my laptop to work. And he was like, wait, are you using a laptop? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, that is not going to be most optimal as you become a coach and as you lean into that, because you are going to need to show clients things on your computer. You're going to need to be able to work more efficiently. And the way you're working now is actually harder for you. And so I went ahead and I ordered a mouse, and it's been a life changer. And right now I am saving up to get myself an iMac. I have been debating just going to get it, but I'm like, nope, I need to just buy this thing flat out and not stress about it. So I'm setting myself up for success because right now I'm realizing working on a laptop is I crunch myself forward to work because it's so tiny and I have to get at the laptop's level. The screen is smaller, so it's giving me headaches. It's hard to navigate on because I work on multiple screens at a time. And so it's just not optimal for me at being a coach and being a social media manager and just doing a lot of work on my computer. It's not optimal for the work that I'm doing. So right there is a tool that is not setting me best up for success. And a part of my brain went, well, I don't need another computer. I have my laptop. And I realized that there was a lot of scarcity around investing in myself, of who's to say that me investing in that computer isn't eventually going to turn around and actually make me more money. Because if I can be faster at something, more efficient, and get the job done better using that computer, it means it's actually going to end up making me more money in the long run. But that's the thing that I think we don't realize as well with setting up our space and getting the right tools for success is we don't have the mindset of feeling like we're worthy to invest in ourselves. If investing in a better microphone is going to make my podcast better, you're damn right I'm going to go get the new microphone, right? We have to be able to look at it from the frame of investing in ourselves to get better, not just spending money to get money, spending money to spend money. Because a lot of us will upgrade to the newest iPhone, we'll upgrade to the newest laptop, we'll upgrade to the newest thing, but it's like we're not actually doing anything on said thing to make more money. If you're a woodworker and your chainsaw or your drills or your whatever stopped working, I would hope that you would go and invest in new ones so that you can continue your work. And so today's episode is about what you have that's not working, but also what is your mindset around investing in yourself, of knowing that we have to invest in ourselves in order to grow and to optimize our practice as we grow and evolve. Another example of this that used to drive me bananas is when I see people in the gym wearing sneakers that are just not fit for exercise. And again, I know things are expensive and I know it's hard, but the thing is if we're trying to optimize our fitness and take care of ourselves, how is it that we can prioritize our money to invest into the right things? Are you going and spending way too much money partying on the weekend and not buying yourself new sneakers that you need to optimize your exercise? We have to be willing to look at it from a lens of investing in ourselves and having the right priorities of where we spend our money. Are we spending money on things that are going to have a positive return on us? Or is that money never going to come back and it's purely just for fulfillment in the moment and for pleasure in the moment? So that is kind of my 1/2 first points. And then I kind of made another list. I'm going through my notes here for you guys, and I realize I always set notes and then I kind of go on tangents. And so it's just like this whole thing. So thank you for sticking with me. But the first thing that I already mentioned, get specific on what's holding you back. Identify the things that aren't working for you. Is it your space? Is it your computer? Is it your sneakers? Is it the lighting? Is it, junk that's around? Is it the layout of your space? Is it your mindset? What is it that is not working? And even if you think your space is working, it can always improve. You can always optimize your space. I change my space around and do little tweaks here and there all the time because I'll notice new things that start to bother me. I started to recognize that my ring light was too close to my computer and it was kind of putting a weird glare, so I had to push it back a little bit. There's just always ways to optimize your space, but you have to really be willing to want to elevate and to grow. And if you're listening to this episode, chances are that probably is that you're wanting to better your life and improve. And so that is the first point, is get specific on what's holding you back. The second one, work with what you have until it makes sense to level up / upgrade, but don't let it hold you back. So this is kind of what I was, sharing with the mouse and the computer situation. Work with what you have and what you have access to and what you can afford in the beginning until it makes sense to level up. But know that eventually, as you grow, that is inevitable. I'm already on my 3rd microphone since I started my podcast 1.5 years ago. And that's because I'm constantly evolving. And as the microphone starts to not sound great, or as I'm learning about a new one, I'm going to upgrade because I want to make sure I'm producing the best sound quality possible. So that makes sense. But it also makes sense that in the beginning, I only spent $12 on my tiny microphone that I used to use because I wasn't at a place to go all in. And oftentimes that's what we do. We'll go all in and we'll buy all these expensive things and we'll get all the tools, but we don't actually do the work. And so we're kind of working backwards versus starting small and building, but knowing you're worthy of building. Number 3, figure out how you can get the most productive. So these are the little things that you might not think make a difference, but do. For me, that is investing in AirPods. If you're watching video, you can see that I have a little Harry Potter case on my AirPods. It's my favorite thing ever. But I always have my AirPods close to me, fully charged, because I know that I like to plug those in when I'm doing my work so I can get into flow. My diffuser and my oils, I also have those right here on my desk. The oils help with aromatherapy. They help get me centered. They help calm my body, help calm my nervous system. And the smell is honestly just pleasant and amazing. And essential oils are the bomb.com. I have my lighting here on my side for when it starts to get a little bit darker out, so I'm not straining my eyes. I have my glasses behind me. I have everything set up in a way that is going to optimize my work and set me up. And that has come from knowing what works with me, knowing what helps me get set up for success. I could never have an office that doesn't have a whiteboard in it. I could not do it because that to me is a clear snapshot of all the things that I'm working on, my goals, what I need to get done. I literally have a list right here in front of me of everything I need to accomplish this weekend, recording this podcast being one of them. And so it primes my mind to know what it is that I need to get done. And honestly, I recommend a whiteboard to anybody across the board, no matter where you're at in your journey. It's just so helpful to get your thoughts out and leave them up and to just look at it because it brings your awareness back to what it is you need to focus on. Whereas if you just leave it in your head or in a closed notebook, you're not going to think about it as much. So have your things somewhere that you can actually see them. But again, that's what works with me. My water, I always have my water here. A chair. This is actually something else I need to invest in. My office chair is starting to become not the best. It is sagging a little bit at the bottom. I need one that has a headrest on the back. So that is going to be my next purchase, is investing in a good office chair, because I know that I spend hours upon hours sitting at my desk and I need the right chair to support me and my body so I can sit here and be as optimal as possible. And a noise machine was the last thing. I love having a noise machine. I have an Alexa sitting, hoping she doesn't turn on, at the top there, so I can just chime at her to set timers, to play music, to read me something, to do quick math, whatever it is. I have everything set up strategically to support me the best ways possible. And the last thing I have for you guys is to start implementing things, trial and error, see what works, see what doesn't. The goal of today, again, is for listeners to land on and bring awareness to how our environment and resources play a huge role in our productivity. I never really realized the correlation between these things, but I'm realizing more and more that the reason people aren't taking action, they're not getting at it, they're feeling like they're not making progress, it's because you don't have the right tools and resources to set you up for success. So no wonder you feel like you're spiraling and you're not getting anything done, because your space isn't working with you. It's actually working against you, putting triggers away that make your mind think about other things. I don't have anything really funsies in my office that if I were to look at it would kind of make my brain turn off of work mode. All in front of me is bookshelves of all my Meraki inventory and all of my books, so that when I look over there, I just think business, I think learning, I think filling my brain, what I learned in those books. They inspire me. Your space needs to be inspiring, not drawing you backwards. It's crucial we take a step back and get ourselves set up properly so that we can be the most successful. So I truly hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope you take the time to just sit in your space, ask yourself what's working, what's not working, because how can I improve? How can I do one small thing today that is going to optimize my life? And again, if you're sitting there going, I don't really have a business, I don't have a podcast, I don't have, those things, your space is likely still playing a role in how it is you live your day-to-day life. If you don't have, water accessible, if you don't have the right skincare things out, you're likely not going to reach for them. If your bed is not made properly, you're likely going to bed at night feeling some type of way. If you have clothes everywhere, it's likely overwhelming your body. If you just have junk food sitting everywhere, that's going to prime your mind to want to eat it. If you have alcohol sitting out, you're going to want to drink it. So it's like setting our environment up for success is huge and is a great first place to start if you are embarking on a new growth journey. So thank you guys again so much for tuning into today's episode. If you're looking to connect, I would love to connect with you guys. I think I have one spot left in my coaching. It might already be full, but I might have one spot left. Check out the 30-minute calendar link in the description. Book your free 30-minute call. I would love to chat with listeners. My goal is just to chat with you guys, get to know you, see where you're coming from, so I may use your story and use your experiences and how this has helped you so that I can continue on my journey of helping other people. So thank you guys so much. All the love. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to chatting with you on the next episode. Bye, you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode of Rewire to Inspire. I absolutely love connecting with you all, so make sure you're following me on Instagram. I am at JessieBrown13. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to leave a review or share with someone you think would enjoy. I look forward to chatting with you all next episode. And remember, get out of your head and into your heart.